All right, this is Mobile Gamer Nerd, and we are back with another Raid Shadow Legends free-to-play mystery shard only run-through. Champion Spotlight. Today, we're going to be doing someone that most people don't do videos on. Yeah, Riscarm. Yeah, Riscarm. We're going to do some Riscarm, all right? He's badass looking. He's got a cool-ass chain, and he's got a giant hammer. You can't really go wrong, especially when it's got a giant spike on the back, and he can impale you. Isn't that fun? Yeah. Isn't that fun, kids? All right. So, what does he do? What is he about? How do we get him? Well, I mean, you get him by summoning, but, you may have gotten him from one of the old fusions. That's possible. That's where I got him. But you can pull, actually, I pulled him also. So I got him from a fusion and we pulled him because he's pullable by rares, by mystery shards. That's what I was saying. So let's look at him. What do we got? A1, he does a 20% chance of placing a stun debuff for one turn. These kinds of skills, although have very low chance of working, are extremely clutch in certain times. Like when you have an enemy that's about to do something really terrible and you smack him in the face and stun him, literally could make the fight a win versus not having that stun. So just an attack on A1 sucks. Having something at least there to possibly stun is always good. All right. Then he's got an attack that hits everyone and places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equal to 20% of her max HP. This one's good for keeping him alive because he'll just keep putting up a shield every 3 turns, which is very nice. And yeah, that'll stop him from getting wiped out, and he can get healed pretty quickly. Then we have this skill, which seems dumb but is awesome. So he places a counterattack buff on a target ally for 2 turns, and he also places a 30% increased buff on all allies for 2 turns. Now, the increased defense alone is worth it. That's good. Now, the counterattack, although not the best thing ever because it only goes on one hero, but the way this game works in AI is that when you put a counterattack up on somebody, a lot of times enemies ignore him. So, unless you're like at death's door and there's a hero that's about to like get one shot, if you're like at least reasonably HP'd, you can just put the counterattack on the person, not that you want to counterattack, but the person you don't want the enemies to hit. And it's a really good way of basically almost kind of untaunting a hero. So what I've been doing is using that to kind of make it useful in certain areas. And we actually did use him in the Bannerlord's faction crypt. So we did beat the crypt about what is that, like maybe like 3 or 4 days ago, and he was one of the people on the team that did it, and he actually had the highest damage out of everybody on my team, which is crazy. So you'll see that when I do the actual Bannerlord's faction crypt video. So we're not going to touch base on it today because it's not open, and I don't feel like waiting 12 days, to do a video for somebody. So that's where he's at. He does have an aura that increases ally defense in faction crypts by 20%. Very helpful. I don't remember if he was my lead. I believe I did use him as the lead just because that extra defense really helps against the boss and make sure that you don't get your ass handed to you in one shot. So very interesting. We do have the Carapace blessing on him as it will eventually give him more defense, which is very nice, and decreases damage he receives by 10% whenever he is stunned, frozen, slept, fear, all the things that faction crypt bosses basically love doing and people in the arena love doing. So if you're going to use them, I would say this is probably the best one for him because it's defense based, which increases his damage anyway. Masteries. So we did go down a more offensive defense setup because we don't really need him to have accuracy. He does a counterattack and he does increase defense for your whole team. The only accuracy you need is for his stun, so it's not super important. I would probably prioritize resist over accuracy on him because the stun is a low chance anyway. It's like one of those last ditch efforts to kind of survive something. So I wouldn't go too crazy on accuracy. Having it's good because you want the stun to land, but it's not a priority. We went down the offense tree, all your basic stuff down to War Master, so he gets the extra attack. And then he has the extra defense here, which we built, and then he does have a decreased damage from AoEs, which is great for the faction crypt or for even clan boss. I've used him in clan boss. He wasn't bad, it just wasn't amazing. So, because he can only do a counterattack on one hero. If it was like 2 or 3, maybe it would be a little bit more worth it. He does have the chance to remove a debuff from him because you don't want him to get debuffed as much as possible. You do have, even though it does reduce his damage, but stuns and all that stuff don't help because we don't want him to not act. If he was like Feared, that might be a different story because at least he'll take less damage. Reduces the damage this champion receives from a specific enemy, also very good for bosses. And then we have the 50% chance to counterattack when he loses 25% of his max HP, which does happen often, even on defense heroes when you're fighting really strong bosses. So that's fun, right? All right, so where do we use him? I mean, I used him in a couple different places. There's nowhere specific that I'm going to really show today. But Bannerlord's Crypt is one of them. I'll show that real quick. I did post a community tab that has the winning team when we actually beat it. So yeah, see, Bannerlord's done. We did use, I don't know if, yeah, it won't let me show you, but we did beat it with Riscarm. We used, who do we use? Let's go look. Who do we use? He works really well with people. We used him, faction. By faction, we used this guy, Archmage Helmet. We used Lord Legionary, who, funny enough, actually has a use now. We decided to do it. We used Myrmidon, we used Valerie, and we used Riscarm. So those were the five that got us through it. And he was the one that I actually specifically built for Faction Wars to get me through it, because we were originally using Conqueror, and Riscarm was the one that actually got us through it. We did put him in a nice little set here that gives him extra defense here. He's got a crit rate. He's got speed on the boots, and he's got a lot of HP defense type things. That's what I've been looking for. So I did build him reasonably. He's got a defense ring. He's got crit damage on his amulet, and he's got defense on his banner. We didn't put resist. I would consider resist, but it's not 100% necessary because he did already have some resist. It wasn't super important, let's put it that way. But I would eventually put probably a resist banner on him once I got his defense up higher. Now, he is built reasonably. He's got over 4,000 defense, which is great, 38,000 HP. He's got 1,500 attack. He's got 93% crit rate, which is good, 133% crit damage, which is awesome, at least for him. And then he's got 169 resist and 162 accuracy. So he's got the stats. They're not there like where I would say he's an end game build right now, but he's definitely, well, I mean, it depends what you consider end game to be, I guess, right? If beating a faction crip is end game, then guess what? He's built for end game. All right, 50,000 power, not bad. So let's go look at him. Let's try him out in some areas and just see what he does. Because honestly, I haven't tested him out in a lot of different places. Here, this is a 150 team. Let's see. Let's pull him out, and we'll take Riscarm as our nuker just to kind of see how he does. So we are a little bit stronger than this team, but this is really just to show off what he can do, not necessarily that he's going to be the source of a win for us in Arena. Because I honestly don't think he would be, but you never know. You never know. Let's see. We'll get some defense down. Hopefully we don't kill them. That's good. All right, so here we go. We got the attack all enemies we want. Here we go. Attack all enemies. Let's see what he can muster here with attack up. Even though he's defense based, doesn't really help him. So he did, what was that? 39 on that one hero. Not bad. So we'll take out this person here and then wipe them out. And they're dead. Now let's go see how they do against a strong team. Is there one in here we can pull? This one's ridiculous, but there's a lot of reviving. We're not going to do that. That's a waste. That's going to just be an irritation. So let's not do that. Let's not irritate ourselves today when we're trying to show off a hero, right? No. I mean, I want to fight this, but we're not gonna because it's not part of the video. All right, so this is a possibility. We might do that. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that team. Let's give this one a shot. It's way higher power than us, so this is not optimal. But we'll see. We'll see if it's something we can manage. If we win, then that makes us look really good, right? But this is the point. We don't know if we're going to win. We're trying to test the theory out. So now we could do increased defense, right? But I feel like this is a team we don't really want to do that yet. I think we want to try and kill them first. So we are going to do the attack up, all right? So we're not going to do defense. We're going to do attack. So there we go. We got the attack, and he got provoked. Now we want to kill this guy because he's a healing nightmare. So he's dead. And then we'll try to kill whoever we can. So now they're dead. So now we just need to really kill this one. So we're going to come out here. Too bad he got stunned. But now he's going to take less damage that he's stunned. So that's actually helpful to us. Decreasing turn meter is always fun. So we got to revive on the one hero we didn't want revived. So that sucks. But he's going to be pretty good. So now we got this. We're going to try and do a counterattack. She's good for counterattacking because she does a lot of damage. So we're going to do that. We're going to try to take this protect thing down at least one notch so we don't have it going for so long. So there you go. Now he's got a counter, which is good. So now he's stunned her. See, that's where the stun could be helpful. Getting stuns. Now he's going to start healing everyone like a jerk because we don't want that. But see, he's not taking that much damage. So this could be very helpful. We're going to speed everyone up, get a little heal. Defense down. So that guy's dead again. Now we're going to see if we can maybe stun her again. Or kill him. Look at that. 16k dead. So that's not bad. There you go. It was a win. So this was 185,000 versus 243. Now, granted, we have Yannicka and we have Arbiter. I get it. I'm not like, I'm not blind to the fact. I don't really feel like you would consider bringing Riscarm into your arena team, but he's not bad. I mean, I'm actually very surprised he doesn't die, which is good. He's a defensive hero. He has the counterattack, which you can put on your main nuker, which could be good. He's like a baby Jizzo almost in that respect. He can just keep putting counterattacks on people. He can give you more defense, and he can do a nice little stun in the beginning. And he's defensive. He's not going to do a ton of damage, but he is going to at least maybe knock out that one hero like he did. He knocked out 2 heroes, actually, I think, right? But either way, he took out Syl, which is good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at him in arena. I wouldn't be upset if somebody used him and was effective with it. So don't put it aside. Remember, sometimes one hero is good for some fights. Like this fight might have just been his cake, and then there might be another fight where it's just not his cake. All right. So you want him to have his cake is really the point of this video. All right. So there you go. That was arena. Let's get out of here. Let's see how how he does in dungeons. I don't use him anywhere, but he does have the defense up. So if we're going to use a stage 20 team, where are we? Team setup, stage 20, dragon. So let's just say we're going to use, really got to reset these. They're all wrong. So let's just say we have this as our dragon 20 team. What we did do is we pulled out Valerie and we had put in War Maiden. Now from here, you could conceivably just use somebody else as a defensive hero and not worry so much about, resurrecting. Removing debuffs is good. So I don't know. You know what? He's got an AoE, so we're just going to put him in instead. Let's try that. Let's just see how this goes. So now he's got defense in, what is that? In faction crypt, so that doesn't really help us too much. We'll do it like this. Actually, we'll put him in the lead right here. Defense in dungeons. So there we go. Start it up. Let's see how Riscarm can function in a stage 20 dungeon at level 60. Now, this could make the run go faster if he didn't put the damn counterattack on Apothecary like I just saw. But if he's putting it on my DPS, then yeah, it could be something that would be good. Now, he's got the defense up on everybody, so at least we won't take as many hits, but it looks like Kale got knocked out in the face, which does happen on these dungeons. Having the defense down really helps, but Syl's going to revive him. Really, we just want to see how much damage he does versus everyone else, because he was the #1 damage dealer for the faction crypt. But granted, most of the heroes that I use in that crypt are mostly supporting type heroes. They're not a bunch of nukers. Riscarm's not really a big nuke hero. But he's not going to get one shot, which is why he's good for sometimes, honestly, just having somebody in a faction crypt that can not die. That's actually what happened to me in Barbarian as well. I put in Zephyr Sniper because she's super defensive. I think she has like 46 or 47,000 defense, and she just didn't die. So I replaced one of the heroes I was using. I think it was Outrider. I replaced him with her, and she just didn't die. Problem solved for Barbarian. I think people kind of misconstrue the fact that sometimes having a hero that does a ton of damage isn't really always the win option. So Riscarm is a good example of that. He is not a masterful attacker. He's not going to come in and wipe the floor with everybody. He's just good enough. He does some damage. He's got the counterattack for one hero so that that person can get another attack off, and he's got a defense up so that not everyone's going to die, and just that enough just that could be enough to get you through the dungeon. Because I'm sure that's a big part, especially if you don't have any crowd control. Like the only crowd control I believe we had in that team outside of Riscarm's stun is Archmage Helmet, who does a bunch of stuns, and he's really good at it. So that is very helpful. And to be honest, it's why we kind of won the fight, was because he can stun the ads in the boss fight. And then you can use Riscarm as maybe a secondary stun, but for some reason Archmage just didn't fail. So he was just nonstop stunning, and I was very proud of him. But because of all the defense and everything else that we got from him and from the other heroes, like the healing, the shields, all that stuff, no one died. Because I don't have a Resurrector for Bannerlords. Unfortunately, Riscarm doesn't do that. If he did, it would be nice. I would like if Riscarm could revive someone. It's funny too because I was actually when Riskarm first came out, I was actually considering building him right away just because he was kind of cool and he looked cool and I was using him to like get him to like 40 or 50 and I just never thought to really get crazy building him. And now that I built him, I actually do like him. Am I going to say, remember, these heroes aren't heroes. I'm not saying you should go build them first over like Kale or Galak or, this is like just heroes that most people don't use, and you don't really get to see them in action very often. So it's like it's nice to see a different set of heroes that you can use to get through some of these dungeons, even though it might take you a while. Say now he's got his little shield up, so he's really good at surviving. That's really what his whole thing is. That's his shtick. He's a survivalist. Risk arm survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I hope you enjoyed my singing. It's the best singing you'll ever get. At least from me, it's the best singing you'll ever get. Maybe I'll make a music video for that called Risk Arms a Survivor. We're going to spend our whole time in here because of the slow. Actually, this isn't going that slow. Sometimes I've done these fights, it's been like 5 or 6 minutes. So we're still at 4, and this guy's almost done, but we did get some smites. So we're not going to say Risk Arm's the reason, but he might be the reason. You never know. No, it's because we got smites. It was smite. 100%. And we just got another one. Like, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous luck on smites. Hopefully he doesn't get the shield before the smite hits him. Because we all know that's what's going to happen. He's going to get that little shield up, and then the smite's just going to hit the shield. There you go. What did I say? Look at that. Riskarm taking the win. He took the killing hit. So as you can see, his damage, for lack of a better term, sucks. But he didn't die. And that's the point. He didn't die. And we won. That's really it. We won. I'm speaking softly because I want you to know that he's a very soft hero. He has a good heart. All right, but that's Riskarm on dungeons. Let's see. Would I use him anywhere else? I mean, really? I would say you could probably use him in most dungeons. I would say Spider's not really his thing, unless unless you're really hurting and it's like early game. I don't think that's a good place for him. Fire Knight, I don't feel is necessary just because he doesn't really have a lot of attacks. He does have the counter attack, which could help, and especially since he's putting counter attacks on Apothecary. So funny enough, you'd have to test it. I don't know how I feel about it because that's a long fight, but usually on that you would want to just make sure you can get the shield down and then never let the Fire Knight get a turn. So you don't have to worry about defense so much on the boss fight. But if his counterattack always goes on Apothecary, then he could 3-hit every single time with Apothecary. So that could be an option if that's what the auto does, is always make him counterattack. But the whole thing is that you don't want him to attack anyway. So the counterattack is kind of, it's almost counterproductive. The counterattack is counterproductive in Fire Knight. So it really just depends on if you're planning on that shield coming up and down every single round, or if you are planning on doing turn meter reduction to kill him. I guess that's really the only difference. So I wouldn't use him here, but that's me. Ice Golem, he's probably really good in just because he can do the defense up, which would really help against getting your team one shot by the Ice Golem. So that I would say might be, let's try this one. Let's see what we got. Who do we use in here? Team setup, Ice Golem, 20. There we go. It's been a while, so we're going to do that. We're going to do the same thing we did before. Now, we did bring him in for stuns and for provokes, and the shields really help from her. So, but the removing of debuffs is really good here as well. So this is a tough one to decide who I would actually switch out if I were to use them. I would have to say her. She would be the only one I would consider doing it. And this might not work. We don't know. That's why we're trying it. That's the whole point, right? I always get sideswiped on these videos when I make them because I'm like, how much does somebody really want to see about a hero, and how many fights do you want to watch? But now he's got the counterattack. See what I mean? He always puts it on apothecary. So for Fire Knight, if that shield goes down, that's helpful because he always has a 3 hitter. So if he gets attacked, he's going to immediately do 3 hits, right? But on the downside, the rest of my team isn't as fast as Apothecary. So Apothecary is at 252 speed now. So he's really high comparative to the rest of my heroes. So having that counterattack, it's going to be gone in like 3 seconds. But you see what I mean? That everyone kind of doesn't want to go attack him. They'll attack someone else with the if he has the counterattack. So in the same respect, it's good because it might stop anyone from really attacking him to kill my healer. So see, you never know. One little change to a team could mean the win. Like, let's say you have a fight where Apothecary is getting his ass handed to him all the time for some reason, like they target him. This could be your fix for that. You just bring him in with Riscarm, and he'll keep putting the counterattack up on him, and there you go. No one attacks Mr. Apothecary. I forgot that I have attack up and remove debuffs with Valerie. Not remove, but lower the turn of debuffs. So actually, this could work out. I'm not too upset about it. It'll be a slower fight because these are very defensive heroes that we're using, but this is a pretty good team, I think. I think this should work unless we get one shot by the freaking boss with the stupidity. I always get excited when I get to do different heroes. This is probably one of my more favorite videos to do. I like doing random rares, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of this because I'm actually building more random rares, and we actually are going to be working on some other heroes in the campaigns as well. So we will have some campaign heroes videos eventually where I'm going to be like, hey, look at all these campaign heroes you can freaking build that are kind of awesome, like the stupid dog from the final level from stage 12. We'll get them in there. See, look at that. Now he's going to take less damage because he's stunned. Even better. I don't remember if defense down was one of the debuffs that he gets less damage from. I don't remember. We'll find out. But either way, who cares? So he did do a stun. Was that his stun or was that Syl? I don't know. I can't tell anymore. There we go. We're at the boss. Let's see how this goes. Can we handle this? They have to kill the ads. So if they don't kill the ads, that's where the problems are going to come in. So we're going to leave it on auto. Normally, I would stop the fight maybe and try to kill the ads towards the final fight. We'll see how they're doing. He does have War Master too, which is nice because he does a lot more damage with his attacks. But look at that. He didn't really take any damage on that hit. And I don't think counterattacks work on Syl. So if Syl gets a counterattack, let's say the whole team gets wiped and Syl gets the counterattack, I don't think she heals on counters. So I don't think that would really help too much. That would really help. Let's just say really more times. How's that? Let's try that. I'm working on That's the hardest one to get rid of because I do a lot of thinking while I'm doing this. Like I'm not like reading from a script. So I have to be a little more thoughtful about my ums. Don't think I don't know. Just because you hear it and you're like, this guy says a lot. Trust me, I know. I listen to my videos. So far, it looks like this is going well, but the problem here is when we start getting all the defense down debuffs and everything else. So this is not really the part where we would be worried or where we'd be like, all right, maybe we might die. Oh, we got a smite, which could help or hurt. I always get weirded out with this boss. Like he's such an annoyance that he can turn the tables in like 3 seconds. Look at that. Because we have the defense up now, that's also helping. So maybe that's good too, because and then Valerie will come in and increase all your buffs. Like she'll increase them for another round. So if he has the defense up and then she puts it for another round, that'll keep you guys a little bit more safe from getting your butt handed to you from this guy's strong attack. So this could honestly be a good because I'm actually still searching for a really good Ice Golem team, like a team that can really just always win. I don't really care about the time so much because if I were to do this, I would more than likely put it on auto overnight. I wouldn't farm it during the day. So I don't care if it takes 5, 10 minutes per run because even if you do a bunch of runs, it doesn't matter. So there we go. We got some freeze, but that no one took a lot of damage on that. I'm used to seeing way more damage. So that defense is really helping keep people alive. Hopefully they'll kill that one guy so that we don't get knocked in with that. There we go. Well, at least one needs to be dead for this to work. So we've got defense down, not good. No bueno, but we still have defense up, so I guess it balances. Having that stun on his A1 helps. So even with defense down, they didn't take too much damage on that. Like this is crazy. Like he's really keeping this buff. Watch, as soon as I say that we're gonna get one shot, he's gonna have both ads up, and then just freaking smack me with the hammer, and we're all dead. I've seen it happen at least 20 times, and if you've been watching my videos since the beginning, you've seen it happen at least like probably 5 or 6 times in my videos that my whole team gets one shot by this guy. It's such a random deal. All right, so now we're getting to I think there's one, maybe, no, there's like two more, I think, ads. Two more ad sets. But as you can see, the fight's long. I mean, it takes a while. This isn't like, obviously, this isn't recommended. This isn't the best team you could use. Really, this is for players who are struggling and you just need a team that doesn't die. Like, that's it. Like, a lot of people are really just looking for teams that don't die. Because if you're trying to do auto, and you don't want to sit here and watch all these fights, then you need teams that are not going to die. I don't care if it's fast. If it's fast and you're not and you have a 30% win rate, there's no point. You're just going to waste energy. So it's better to just have a longer fight that you can put on overnight and just say screw it. I didn't even think about that. I could use my PC for this, like just put them on overnight on my PC. I don't know why I never do that. That's weird. I always do it on my tablet because I'll just like leave it on, and it's bad for your tablet, but I do it. So sue me. All right, looks like as long as we can kill that other ad. Nope, they're going for the boss. See, this is where I would say it's dangerous because he's going to get an attack. So we're going to turn it off. We're going to kill this guy first. There we go. And now we're going to auto because we don't want to get hit with that main hit. That's the big thing. And if both of them are alive, we get 100%, I think, decreased defense, which is horrendously bad for your team. I don't know if that changed the fight, but you know what? It made me feel better about my life because this guy's going to get an attack soon. There we go. So they can win. There you go. That they had really, honestly, little to zero problem. I mean, look at his damage. Like he is on par right there. Look at that. 1.4 million he did in that fight. So this could be your spot for him if you're really looking, if you're really struggling on like actually staying alive in this fight. Riscarm could be a really good mix with Syl or anyone else who does healing and reviving or whatever it is that shielding Valerie. This is a really defensive team. Remember, very defense here. I mean, you have no one here that's really set for insane attack. Drex is a tank. Syl is essentially a tank with reviving and healing. Apothecary is basically a speed tank. I'm going to have mostly defense stuff on him. Valerie is a tank shielder, and then Riscarm is a tank also. So it's like, yeah, it just works though. This is, I mean, as you can see, I mean, I beat Bannerlords with him, so he is good. He's obviously good enough to get us through that. So this is kind of just like a mini version of that, where he's keeping us alive. We really had no time in this fight where my team was in serious danger, but we also didn't get hit with the big hit. So, honestly, I'd rather have been hit with that big hit so I could see how much damage it does. But it looks like his main hit with the extra power would probably only knock us down to 50% HP, whereas before his regular attacks were knocking us down that quickly. So yeah, Riscarm and Ice Golem. I mean, who would have thought, right? He's awesome. I like him. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So yeah, that's mainly it. I mean, if he's really there for faction wars, you can use him in arena. Is he a tier 1 hero that you're going to use in arena? No. Can he get you through it if you just happen to have him and you just like using him? Sure. Would I build him first over the other heroes? No. And that's kind of where I'm at on that. We don't really need to show him in Doom Tower. Doom Tower is actually easier than what we just did. So there's almost no point in showing him in there. And the fights are always longer. So I wouldn't bring him in there. Let's find him again. Where are you, my boy? So yeah, Riskarm. I would recommend him highly for Bannerlords. He definitely doesn't die, and that's really what you need. So you could bring in your legendary heroes that are awesome if you have them, or if you pulled some really good epics that are really good nukers and they just die a lot. This could be your answer. Just bring in Riscarm with them, keep their defense up, get a counterattack on one of your heroes or your healer so that your healer doesn't get your ass whooped. And there you go. Problem solved. Riscarm for the win. All right. So if you guys have any questions about Mr. Riscarm and what he does and how he handles himself, feel free to leave a like, share, subscribe. We are trying to build this channel up and get in that partner program so that I can make this my full-time job and make videos for you guys all day. I would like to start doing a couple other games too, and unfortunately, I just always tried and I never have time because I haven't been able to really do it. So make sure you guys are liking and subscribing and commenting. Get me in that little, that algorithm that we love so much. But yeah, leave your comments. Tell me how much you love Riskarm. Tell me how much you hate Riskarm. I mean, if you have him and you fed him to someone, I'm not angry at that. If that's the story you want to tell, man, then live your truth, right? All right, so that's it for today. This is Riskarm. This is Mobile Gamer Nerd. And you guys take care.